God damn. You could take this into the back. Wow.
This is Magnus Böner. I'm here with my friend Joshua King. He is a real deal digital nomad, and here in a bit you'll know what the hell that even is, because I'm a little cloudy myself. Josh?
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Got a few beers in me. Got a cigar. Can't wait to get this started. I'm not getting paid, but this is nice.
So what is a digital nomad? What do you do?
Oh, basically anything. I mean, it's just, you're on your computer, you're out working. There's tons of different people doing it. I mean, if you work for some company and you don't have to be in the office.
What kind of work do you do? Do you run a porn site? What are you doing over there in Asia?
I'm just traveling. I do YouTube videos, Instagram, nothing big. We're just kind of out enjoying the day. That's all it comes down to, is you just do it, and it really does not take much to survive out there. It's so cheap over there. The biggest thing is getting over there, and of course, buying the hardware, stuff like that. I mean, you got to have a computer, you got to have a mic, you got to have a couple of these, you got to have a camera, you can use a phone. But
use a phone? That sounds
a little
ghetto.
I know. I don't know who uses a phone, but
phone.
Yeah.
All right. So pro tip, ladies, if you're traveling in Southeast Asia, bring your own tampons.
Yeah, they don't have them. So if you get a gunshot wound and you don't have one in your kit, you're screwed. I mean, you're going to have to put a finger in it.
Or maybe you've got a bleeding vagina. Maybe you need a tampon for that because you can't put a finger in it. So what countries have you been to?
We started out in Cambodia. We're there for 3 weeks. Battambang, Phnom Penh. Went to Thailand from there, went to Bangkok.
Bangkok.
Yeah, Pattaya. We went there for a day. That was kind of cool. And then back to Bangkok. And I like Bangkok. So does he. And then it was off to... my cigar went out. It was off to Malaysia, and we spent 3 months there, and now we're back in the U.S. for...
Malaysia, isn't that a Muslim country?
It is a Muslim. It's like 90% Muslim, but no, it's a great place to be. Oh, absolutely. No, it's a great country. You've got Malay, people, which are the Muslim. You have Chinese, which are not Muslim, and then you have Indian. So it's a huge culture, and they're really accepting of everything. It's a great place to be. No danger at all. I think that's just something.
My uncle's a redneck, and he's afraid of Muslims.
Yeah, no, Ken, we had a great time there, and I am not reading this from a sign being held up by people behind the camera. No, it was a good time. Malaysia's fantastic. I don't know why more people don't go to Malaysia as opposed to Thailand. Thailand's great. There's lots of women, lots of alcohol, but it's really modern. The food
is there alcohol
so
in Malaysia? There's
alcohol. I mean, it's just like Thailand, but it's not people drinking in the streets and things like that. It's not a big old party.
Okay.
But it is fun. I mean,
are people drinking in the streets in Thailand?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you can really, especially like Thai New Year. We went there, and people are handing you shots as you walk down the street, and beer. It's insane. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's a different kind of fun. It's a lot of stuff you can go do, a lot of malls. If you need stuff for your gear, if you need electronics, they have it. It's a great place to be. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, it's easy to spend 3 months there.
And that's how long you were there?
Mm-hmm.
So 3 months in Malaysia.
3 months in Malaysia. Yeah, mainly in KL, Kuala Lumpur. We kind of went around and did, but there's so much more to see.
And then in Thailand, how long were you there?
How long were we there? 2 months. 2 months in Thailand. No, for Thailand, there's a lot of stuff you can do in Thailand that's cool. And there's a lot of stuff to do in Southeast Asia that's cheap. And a lot of stuff to do that's free, but there are some things where the prices are the same as U.S. Alcohol is one. There's some cheap alcohol, but a lot of the stuff you get there, you're paying a couple of bucks for what were they?
Half liter?
Yeah, for a half liter. Well,
half liter, a third of a liter.
You're getting about
A third of a liter is about the size of a 12-ounce bottle here.
So for 22, you're paying a couple of US bucks.
$2.
Yeah.
And so that'd be like the Singha.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Which is
wanted
good.
to
The
have
Singha's good, but that's
a
only
good
in
night of
Thailand.
drinking would cost you $10 to $15 US.
Yeah, but you can go down and get whiskey for cheap. But they have little stands, and they have this one stand in Thailand where you go, and it's this little medicinal stuff, and it kind of tastes like Jaeger because it has this licorice feel. But it was 10 ringgit, which is like a third of a US dollar. So 34 ringgits, 34 baht to $1 in Thailand, and
Okay.
it costs 10 baht. So that's roughly a third of a dollar, and you have a couple of shots, and yeah, you get lit up very easily. So for a buck, I would say $3, you could get lit
Okay.
off of that for $3 US.
So if you travel in Asia, you won't die of sobriety, is what we're going to learn from this.
Yeah, it's definitely, depending on where you go, stay away from the places that are, Western. We have Western food, we have, all this, and
Right. You can get that at home. So
yeah,
unless
you can
you're
get that at
feeling
home. There
homesick,
are
why
a few
wouldn't-
good
why would you go
places. Yeah,
there?
the Reggae Bar in KL, they had some burgers that were good, and they had some beer that was it was all right, but it's not microbrew. You're not gonna find microbrew there, so get that out of your head. You're not drinking microbrew in Southeast Asia. That's just not gonna happen.
What were the highlights?
Oh man, not working for somebody else.
That's a good thing. You don't like
that's
working for somebody else?
Yeah, see, that's the funny thing is that a lot of people, like when we got started on this, tons of people are like, oh, we hate our jobs. It's horrible. You don't want to do this. Why do you want to work the 9 to 5? And yeah, you don't really, because for me, working the 9 to 5, you don't have a lot of time afterwards. So if you were doing 8 hours, like you got to get ready in the morning, you got to make lunch, or you can buy it, which is expensive.
Right.
But it's taking you, with travel time. Like for me, I had at 35 minutes each way. So that's an hour of travel time plus another, maybe an hour of getting ready in the morning, getting up, getting ready, getting dressed, going. And then you've got another half an hour when you get home. After your drive time, you gotta get cleaned up and
Right.
then get ready for the next day. And so you don't really have a whole lot of time to yourself.
You see, that's why I became a brewer. When you've got a job you love, you never work a day in your life. I feel like I'm on vacation all the time.
Yeah, see, I like my job too, but a lot of people just did not like their jobs. They're like, yeah, we're quitting and that's why we're doing this. And I liked it. I liked the company I was at. I got to talk to people. I really enjoyed it. I got to work with plants and all sorts of stuff. It was really nerdy, but I enjoyed it. So me going off and do this wasn't because I hated my job. It was just that I want to do something else. Yeah, I want to go see stuff. And, it just came to a point where all we were doing was socking away money. It's like, well, why am I doing, 10 plus hours with drive time and everything else when I could be off just doing what I want to do? And that's what it comes down to. And Southeast Asia is great because once you get the plane ticket, once you get, the little things you need, you're good. You just go over there and you buy yourself a lot of time. And so for digital nomads, yeah, they're back to that. There's all sorts of things you can do. You've got online stores. You've got people that do photography. You've got some people just go over there and work.
Right, they code. Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, and you just work on your computer. So they'll go over and they may work for a company where all they have to do, either coding or they do something where they don't have to be in the office and they can just video in, or they just have to do certain things on the computer and that's it. So that's great. People will travel around and do that, and that's nice because if you're working for a U.S. company, you're making 60 to 70K a year. Yeah,
Right.
You don't have to start up your own business and sweat it out. You're making 60 to 70K, and you're able to travel and do all that. So yeah, for some people, but you're still working for somebody else.
Right.
But it's on your own time. You just have to get stuff done.
Did you have any big scares while you were over there? I know you had that thing online you posted about waking up to machine gun fire one morning. What was that story?
Yeah. So we woke up. So we got there. It was Independence day, and we knew they were doing this, and they were setting up like a block away in KL in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And at night, all the windows of the hotel and the hallways are open. And so at 6 a.m. in the morning, we wake up and you hear this, and it's fully automated machine gun fire, and you hear it
automatic, not automated. Automatic is what he's trying to say.
Yes. All right, so we'll edit that. So it was fully automatic weapon fire, and it's echoing off the buildings, and you wake up and you're like, what? You know, all right, everything you thought about, like your exit strategy, you're like, all right, we need to move.
What was the exit strategy? You had a plan ahead of time?
Yeah, so you have everything next to you. You have the things that you always the things that you need, like a passport. You have some cash on you, you know, just to get the hell out. I mean, leave everything else behind. Who cares about that? It's like get out and get to the embassy, either the U.S. or the Swiss.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's the first thing that goes through your mind is, oh my God, you know, something's going down, and we need to figure out a way to get to the embassy, which is, you know, who knows how far it is on foot.
So did you have all your shit packed? You were headed to the embassy, or how far did you get before you figured out what was going on?
I got up, and then all of a sudden you hear Merdeka, which is independence, Malay for independence.
Oh.
And you realize that the videos that, you know, audio was from like 60 years ago.
Gotcha.
And they were just starting at 6 a.m., bright and early. You just hear the stuff come over the speakers. They had speakers set up throughout there, and they would do that every day. But that one day, yeah, they just started off with machine gun fire. I don't know why.
Well, why wouldn't you? Who doesn't like machine gun fire?
Not at 6 in the morning.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe that's how they get people out of bed.
Possibly got me out of bed. And then we posted on Facebook and posted like a story, like it was happening. So we were getting comments about, you scared the shit out of me. And yeah, no, everything was fine.
Just how did you think you were going to get yourself to the embassy? Don't you stand out like a sore thumb in Malaysia?
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to figure out a way to get there. I don't know, that's why you have cash.
Do you have some kind of an outfit, maybe a disguise?
No, you can't hide. You can't hide. You just have to go. Your best chance is just to pay somebody off and get you there.
Okay.
I mean, $100 US will get you a long way. So, you know, if you have local currency, or I'm playing with my watch a lot. I'm getting wet. Yeah, just local currency.
I'm getting wet just listening to your sexy voice.
Yeah?
Oh,
you
yeah.
like that?
Mm.
No, just, you know, it's money buys a lot of things. So if something goes down, yeah, there's a lot of good people out there that'll help you, but you're not always around them either. So, you know, if you need to pay a strangers to take you somewhere, you can pay them. And, you know, if you need to get out somewhere, it's no amount of cash you're not going to be worried about,
Right.
oh, let's dicker about the deal. No, it's like, here's $20 US. You know, don't carry 100s, carry 20s.
What happens if you get sick when you're over there? What kind of, I mean, you know, here in America, we all have medical insurance because we're required to by law. And so we just have such great health care.
I've got to get that now that I'm back.
I know that I don't avoid going to the doctor because I'm going to have to pay a doctor bill. That's not reality. What do you do over there if, you know, you got the clap or something?
Oh, the clap. Yeah, that's something different. You got to go find some bumblebee shots or something.
Okay. But no, if you get let's say you get a sinus infection.
So seriously. Yeah, so I got sick over there. I got sick for a week, and then it went away, and then like 4 days later I got it again. And oh man, it was the worst. It was the worst sinus thing I ever had. It was all up here, but it was different because it drained you. And like, I didn't want to get up. Like, I lost a bunch of weight, and she had to order pizza. We ate fast food, delivery fast food the whole time. But we did. I drugged up. I brought a bunch of stuff from here. I brought some pseudoephedrine, which is Sudafed. So if you go, don't get the Sudafed from the counter, from over-the-counter stuff. Get pseudoephedrine from behind the counter where you have to show your ID, and get the 12-hour because the 24 doesn't work that well. It doesn't work the 24 hours. Get the 12. Okay. That is a lifesaver, and you can get stuff over there if you go to the pharmacy. A lot of times over there, pharmacists can just write a prescription.
Okay.
In Malaysia, you can get stuff from pharmacists.
So they can give you a full, what do they call that? Not a source, a full series of antibiotics?
No, you'd have to have a doctor for that.
Okay.
But if you go into, like, all right, so Malaysia, we have a friend that's a nurse over there, so like she told me how it works in Malaysia. What they do is if you go in, you tell them you just got food poisoning, which is what they referred to it as. So if you're hitting the can 6 times a day and you've got the Hershey squirts, yeah, go in and they give you an antibiotic. They don't need a stool sample. They don't need anything. They just give that to you, and it wipes out everything in there because they know what it is.
Right.
And you know, you just got infected with like some poo or something.
And then you're eating all that fermented food. There's probably plenty of probiotics to repopulate your guts after a
Yeah, you're not really eating a lot of fermented food, though. So I had to go and buy yogurt.
Okay.
I didn't take any antibiotics. I got it in Cambodia. I got like the traveler's flu, or the traveler's, what do they call it? It's like Moctezuma's revenge. But for like 3 weeks, man, you're always looking for a bathroom. And so that happened.
And now,
and
are those squat toilets, or do you get to sit on that toilet?
They have Western style ones where you can actually sit on them.
Okay.
But they have these ones that are squat, and they have these little traction pads built. They're not really pads, but they're built into the porcelain, and they're just kind of little traction things, and you can sit there and squat. And you got to be born. You got to be born to be able to do that. It's like sitting like Ichiro.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be flat-footed, and you're hanging down, and I can't do it.
So most of us white folks, we don't have the flexibility in our hamstrings. A human being should be able to squat with their feet together and their feet flat on the ground and not lift their heels. But you see, I've got my heels up, if this is on video, and most of us don't have that range of motion. And apparently you're supposed to have that. So I do a lot of squatting trying to get there, but I can't do it.
Yeah, we had, when we went in, we were doing some Taekwondo and some street combat, and we were doing some Kung Fu with the Kung Fu master. It was Wing Chun, is that?
Yeah, that's how you say it.
So his name was Master Wei Chun, and he had
his name was Wei Chun.
Was Wei Chun,
and he taught Wing Chun.
He taught Wing Chun. That was one of the styles. He had a bunch of different styles. He was a Kung Fu master.
Let's clarify this. Wei Chun taught the style of Wing Chun.
Yeah, and so I thought
that's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, and so he was also he did Kung Fu. He was a Kung Fu master. And he also did the, what is the one that they do? It's the exercise.
The Tai Chi.
Tai Chi. He was a Tai Chi master, but he taught mainly, older people and people come in for exercise. And he was like, yeah, you're not going to fight like that. You're just going to use it.
Right.
It keeps you limber. And so he was telling me, he's like, you got to get down and squat like that. And I could not keep my feet. So he did this thing, and he starts pounding like on my hamstrings and on my knee and on my legs. And he's like,
did it help?
Yeah. It helps. I had more range after that, but it hurt like a son of a gun. And so I didn't have that flexibility. So that's one thing I learned as training, is that I have to hit you low, like with kicks. I have to go low with a kick, high with a punch. Like I can hit you in the waist, I can hit you in the hip, things like that. But yeah, I'm not gonna hit you in the head. I can if I twist and hit my hips. But yeah, I just didn't have that range of motion like these guys have.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't use an Eastern style toilet. And they have no toilet paper either. A lot of these places, they don't have toilet paper. They have these things, and they're great. They're called, well, they don't call them this, but they're called bum guns. That's what I call them. And they call them like water hoses, I think. There's probably some other names for them. There are. I don't know what the local language is for it, but it's just like one of those things that you use for your dishes.
It's like the thing on the sink that you spray your dishes.
And it has a little nozzle in the handle. And some of them don't even have that nozzle. They just put out pressure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and you do that, and it's like getting a little local shower. That's what it is.
Well, that makes sense. If I got shit on my arm, I'm not going to wipe it off my arm. I'm going to want to wash it off my arm.
Well, yeah.
So why do we just wipe our... I'm a baby wipe man, so I keep a clean butthole. It's important to keep a clean butthole.
Yeah.
So I like that, get clean.
Yeah, so if you're out and you're like picking up leaves or something, you're raking leaves and you reach down and grab a pound, you get cuss on your hands, you're not just going to take, some paper and wipe it and smear it around. No, you're going to go in and wash it off. So it's the same thing.
Yeah, you might as well wash your butt.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I've got to install one of those on my mom's. That's like my goal is to like get one here, even if I have to get some tubing, hook it up to the sink temporarily, just so you pop it on every time. Oh man, it's great because baby wipes are so expensive here.
I've got a buddy that owns a brewery in Bellevue, and he's got the Japanese style toilet seats, and there's this little control thing there, so
those are awesome.
You can sit down there and you can take a dump, and at the end you operate this thing, a wand comes out and it washes you off, and then there's a little blow dry apparatus, get you all straightened up and ready to go out and do your thing, you know?
Yeah, they have those, but they run like $200 or $300 US here. So if you get one of those little dishwasher hoses and get some,
You got
can
the,
hook it up
know,
pretty
the
cheap.
water's right down there on most of your toilets,
Yeah.
so you could just, hang it up there. I'm a renter, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But if you own your house, just get after it.
Well, you can if you're a renter. Or what you can do is if you're really close to your shower head, just take the shower head off, if it's on a hose, and just, kind of get up in there. And that works too, just a setting so it's a firm spray. No, but those are the greatest thing. I love those things. I absolutely love those. We had one that was so bad in Cambodia. So usually they have a little knob you can turn. Mm-hmm. And you can adjust the pressure on it, or the pressure set to where it's not that bad. So this one did not have a valve on it. So I get out there, and you always want to test them, right?
Right, you want to know what you're working
with. And so
with.
you spray it, and they're wet bathrooms, so everything just gets wet anyways.
So what is there, like a floor drain in the bathroom then?
Yeah, there's usually a couple, and sometimes where the shower is, it's a little sunken. Some of them are, anywhere from like that to, they can be a full step up, but they'll have a drain, usually in the sunken part, and then one over there. But yeah, everything gets wet when you shower.
Yeah.
And no, this one did not have a control valve. So I go to spray it, and it shoots out across the bathroom, nails the other wall. And so I set up some water bottles and did some water bottle bowling with full little 20-ounce water bottles, and you set them up and you can knock them over. I'm like, that will literally tear you a new one. And that is, you gotta play with it, and you gotta get used to the, by pushing on it with just enough pressure so that you don't rip yourself open.
So you're over there, you've been to Cambodia, Thailand, and Malaysia. Mm-hmm. Obviously you ate a lot of rice, because that's what, folks eat over there. Was there a lot of similarities between Southeast Asian food, or is there really, you could tell when you were somewhere else?
Yeah, you could tell. Cambodia, God, the food there was so good. So you get there, oh my God. Like her mom, my wife's mom, they're from Cambodia, and we go over to her house. So we were in Cambodia, and still coming back here, her Cambodian food is still the best. I love that stuff.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. But over there, we had some stuff that was really good. If you have somebody that's local and they make it, it's good. But there's a lot of food carts. So you just go, and it's really good because people make only a few things, and they get really good at it. They just become masters of this food that they're making.
If you make egg rolls, you're egg roll master.
Yeah, there's some of those. There's, you get banana things that people make, and they'll fry them up, on these sticks. There's noodles. There's, what else was there? There was all sorts of stuff.
Dumplings?
Yeah, there were dumplings. You can get little dumplings. Malaysia had more of that, I think, than anything else, right? Yeah, they had more because they had Chinese, so they had Chinese population. So you got so Malaysia, you got real Indian food, real Chinese food.
Now, these are the Indians with the dots, not the feathers.
Yeah, this is
these
India,
are not Native Americans.
Not U.S. Native American. Yeah, they don't have too many of those over there. So it's Indian, Chinese, and Malay. So you get 3 different authentic foods. And then Western Malaysia is different than Eastern Malaysia even, yeah. And then you go down to Singapore, which used to be part of Malaysia, and that's even different, and that's a lot more.
So educate me, I'm ignorant on this. I thought Singapore was in Malaysia, but it's not?
It is. Yeah, it's on the southern tip. It used to be. Yeah. So when they split from Britain, because they were under the British rule just like we were. So that was nice being there for Independence Day.
Right.
Because we missed the U.S. Independence Day. So it's all right, we're going to celebrate separating from the British with the Malays.
Did you guys shoot guns? Do they have a Second Amendment?
No, no, you can't have guns. You can have concealed carry, but you have to, like here, you have to pay, and you have to have a good reason why you need one. So a lot of tycoons have them.
So if they don't have guns, what are you concealing, or can you get
No,
licensed?
you conceal guns. You have to pay for it, and you have to have a reason why you're going to be in harm. So people that if you have the money and you're a tycoon, and if you're or somebody that's prominent, there's a risk of kidnapping. So you'll either have bodyguards, or you'll have bodyguards and you'll have a concealed carry also. But all the weapons over there have to be concealed, unless it's like when they're taking out money from ATMs or from the MRT stations, like the light rail or the rail stations. They'll have shotties on them.
Shotguns.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they'll have those visible, but other than that, no, you don't see weapons. You see military out there, and they'll have, they'll be out there, and I don't know if they're army or what they are, but they'll be in the camo, and they'll have the fully automatic weapons,
What
then
kind of
you'll see
weapons
the
they
police
have?
force.
Would you know if it was an AR-15, an AK-47?
It was an AR-15 style. I mean, it was military.
It was black?
It was black.
Okay.
It was big and black. Yep. And then the police force only had... So the police force, they've gone to... a lot of them carry revolvers still, which is interesting.
Well, so here in America, we have this freedom of having guns, so our police, they get to have really cool weapons because they might actually have to shoot somebody that's armed. When you're over there and nobody's got guns, you can have a revolver.
Yeah, they'll have revolvers. So, a lot of the problems over there are stabbing incidences. So, incidents. But you don't see a lot of violence over there. Like, as a tourist, Malaysia is the safest place to be.
Okay.
Which scares the hell out of a lot of Americans because you think, yeah, it's Muslim. It's 90% Muslim. It's not. It's not an issue. I mean, if you're going to, Afghanistan or something like that, yeah,
Right.
you probably don't want to be over there as an American, but Malaysia's so easy. The biggest thing you have to worry about is like somebody snatching your bag or something. We never saw any of that.
Okay.
So you're very safe over there, and the police are really good with people. You can talk to them, and you don't have to worry about interacting with them. You just talk to them, and they're friendly guys, and they have different types of police too. They'll have subway police or rail police, and then you have just police that are on the beat. You'll have police directing traffic. So you see them all the time, but they're really nice. We got about. The Prime Minister was there during Hari Raya, which it's after Ramadan, but for Ramadan, like the iftar is like at the end, it's your breaking fast.
Okay.
So each day they have that, and on the weekends they would have we went to Iftar KL, which is Iftar Kuala Lumpur, and they had the whole thing down by Dataran Merdeka, which is the Freedom or Independence Park.
Okay.
And that's where they have all the big celebrations. It's where they had the setup. They had stuff for the SEA Games. But anyways, where was I going with this story? Anyways, the Prime Minister was there, and they had the bodyguards there, and I had my camera and mic, and we got right up to them. We got 10, 15 feet, and got in with the press corps, and was able to do that. And the bodyguards, they're attentive and they watch, but they're not like, you need to get back. They're just like, oh, okay, and they're watching. But they're pretty nice. If you try it, they had one guy, kept trying to take pictures, one of the press, and so they're like, you need to go. They're like, you need to get back. He's like, oh, okay, and he's still snapping pictures. Like, they're moving in on him. They're like, now. And even though people are, a lot of times you get people that are smaller in Malaysia, because they're a shorter stature. When these guys, they're like baseball players. When they get up close, they're big.
Okay.
They're big dudes, and they're not, they're not pushy or anything, but they can handle themselves.
Right.
So. So that's another thing, is if you go into an immigration place or you're dealing with government or police, be nice. They get so much shit all the time. People are in there, and like, one British guy was in there, he's like, Jesus Christ. He's like, I just, yada, yada. And the guy behind the counter was like, nope, I'm not going to help you. He's like, nope, you got to go. And so when we walked up, we were just nice. It's like, hey, look, I overstayed this. What do I need to do? And he's like, oh, yeah, just go here, here, and here. And they're all really nice.
This is actually good advice, so listen to this. What he's saying is, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
If you're needing customer service of any kind in the world, talk nice to that person. Talk to them how you'd like to be spoken to. And don't be a dick, because somebody's going to help you if you're nice. If you're a dick, they're going to be like, fuck you, get out of here. And they'll get you out of there.
Yeah, and always ask. You know when you've overstayed, and you know what you've done wrong, and you're like, hey, look, I need to do this. What do I need to do? And they're like, oh yeah, just do this, this, and this. So they're really good about it. But if you come in, it's not like the U.S. where, you go into the government office or you go in to get your license to the DOL. That sucks anyways. And, here they have to help you. In other countries, they don't have to. They'll just send you away. And so, being nice is just, it's nice.
Yeah.
And you get so much more done.
What I found traveling, I've traveled mostly in Europe, is in Germany or Czech Republic, if you're in a tourist area, there's lots of people that speak English and they can communicate with you. But if you're in Prague and you're trying to buy a train ticket to Brno, well, that person that you're buying the ticket from works for the government. And so they don't speak English because they're not used to dealing with tourists. And they'll try to help you best they can, but most of the time they're not going to speak a word of English to you. And what I normally do, like in Czech Republic, this is a Magnus Böner tip here, is I'll buy my ticket, and if you're in that Prague train station, they'll have a reader board, and it's not going to make any sense. So what I'll do is I'll look for somebody that's my age or younger. I'm 37. Most folks my age or younger speak English. So likewise, you want somebody that looks like they're educated. Well, what's a person look like that's educated? Well, they're probably dressed nice. And if you're in Czech Republic, you're probably going to want to interact with one of those beautiful Czech women. So that's your excuse to go up to her. I think it's Prominta. What is it? Prominta is excuse me, and Angletsky is English. And there's some other words that I say, but I don't remember them. But if I was there, I would have studied up. And you just talk to this person, and pretty soon you've got a pretty lady speaking to you in that sexy Czech accent. And most of the time, if they have time, they're so friendly, they'll take you and show you exactly where you need to be, where you need to go. And you just got to interact with one of those Czech hotties.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was the nice thing about Malaysia, too, is English is kind of their second language. And yes, it is. It's very British because they were under British rule.
And it's a major port, trading center.
It is. Yeah, it is. Which is why you have a lot of Chinese there that came there. So what happened was they have been under everybody's rule except their own until, not that long ago. So they were British. Then the Japanese came in
during World War II.
Yeah, and they took over, and then the British had so much going on that they backed out. They're like,
right.
Yeah, we can't hold this. So they left. So originally it was Portuguese. So Portuguese. They have some Portuguese forts there in Malacca. Also Portuguese. Yeah, well, Portuguese and Malacca. That's a huge.
So Portuguese women normally have really nice round butts. Was there any of those Portuguese genetics?
I don't know. Because
like if you go to Brazil, all the ladies have amazing booties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they just speak Portuguese. Yeah, I don't know if the Portuguese and the Spain just owned everything at one time. I know Spain ruled the world, and then British, the British did.
Well, your major naval empires were the Dutch, the British, the French, Portugal, and Spain. And so all the old colonies, whether you're in Asia, Africa, wherever, those were the countries. Down in the Caribbean, you had all of those. You had French, you had the Dutch, you had the English, and they're all at war with one another at one time or another.
Yeah. So they were Portuguese. I think the French. There's some French-looking stuff there too. But I know Cambodia was a French colony at one time. They were all in there. But anyways,
that was all French Indochina.
Yeah, the British had them. Then the Japanese had them, and then the British again. Then they got independence, but they got it peacefully, whereas the United States did not. So yeah, the Malay they went from being Malaya, and then at the time of their independence they became Malaysia, and then Singapore, became Singapore. But
so what is that? Is it
English.
Almost like a city-state, Singapore?
It almost is, but it's really, from what I understand, it's really sterile. Everybody in Malaysia says it's the land of fines. So you get fined
for everything.
You cannot chew bubble gum. You will get fined for chewing bubble gum. So you get out. We went out to Crab Island, which is Pulau Ketam, and it's this island, it's all like Chinese. They speak Chinese, and you go out there, and everybody's riding around on these little it's all boardwalks because it's on this muddy type island, and everybody's riding around. You're like, you don't see any petrol stations, so it's all electric, and kids park their bikes. Just bikes and their little mopeds on the dock. They take the boat and go to the other part of the island where there's another village, and they live there, and then they come to school in Pulau Ketam.
Okay.
And but yeah, it's all electric, which is really efficient.
Right.
So you just plug it in and charge it, and you're good to go. You don't have to deal with gas. In Cambodia and Thailand, they'll sell these little glass bottles or even like 1 liter jugs of gas. And so you've got this weird, almost like amber-looking stuff sitting out, and people sell it.
So so you got a glass bottle of gasoline. What are you gonna do with that? You put that in your motorcycle?
Yeah, you just open up the thing and pour it in. Yeah, and cars go to the gas stations. They have gas stations, but you can just buy these on the side of the road like you're buying some street meat or something. You just walk up and you buy it from them, pour it in, and you're on your way.
Huh. What's this? So what's buying street meat? We don't do that where I come from.
Street meat.
I mean, that sounds kind of dirty, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what site you're on. Yeah, there's some street meat videos. Yeah, if you look up street meat, you might get a few things, but street meat is just basically meat that you're getting. You buy it on the street, so it's.
So is that going to be wild game, or is that fish, or is that chicken that somebody farmed?
Mm-hmm. They have. So Cambodia had tons and tons of just anything. They had rats on
Try
a stick.
Googling that. Google Cambodian street meat. See what you come up with.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't listen to this guy. You're not going to get stuff on a stick. You will, but it's not going to be what you're looking for. But anyways, they have these rats on a stick, and you can tell because they have like the two teeth.
Uh huh. So is it a skinned rat? What's this look
Yeah,
like?
it's skinned. I don't know if they burn the hair off and then cook it, but they're just splayed out and they're cooked. You can get frogs. We got grasshoppers where they cook them up. You can also get silkworms.
Oh, really?
And oh my God, they are good.
They taste good.
Yeah, because they fry it in like this, in the sauce. It gets all that flavoring from the wok and from the stuff they're frying it in. And so it's almost this meaty flavor in that. And they're really good. You get some grasshoppers.
It's like eating a
too.
fucking oyster. It looks gross, tastes good. I mean, I don't like oysters, but some folks eat that.
Yeah, but it is good. I mean, people eat it, so you just try it, and
right.
You can actually get dog over there. They just refer to it as meat. And so if you're over there, you're like, hey, I want meat. You can get it.
Did you eat any dog?
No, I wanted to.
Why not?
No, my wife didn't want to, and my brother-in-law were like, no, we're not going to do it. But I was so excited to eat some. But no, you just...
Well, here we hold those animals sacred, but they're made of meat just like any other animal.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Europe, they eat horses. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the only thing a horse is good for, is to eat the stupid thing.
Oh, and glue.
Yeah, and glue.
And glue. No, but dogs, it's different. Here in Asia, here in America, dogs are like, people parents, or pet parents, they call them. And people take their dogs down and they treat them like family, and that's great. I think dogs are great. We've had them as growing up, and they're great companions, and they're great for hunting and, for security and things like that. But over there, they're just cats are.
They're livestock.
Not even that. They run around and they're there, and people don't really pay attention to them. They get the scraps, but people don't pet them. If you try and call them, they just look at you. They don't know what, hey, come on. They don't understand what that is. But the cats, people love cats. And so like people will feed in Malaysia, people will just feed the cats on the street, and they'll come up, and same in Cambodia, they just come up and they're not scared. They're not
Do you
skittish.
ever eat the kitty?
No.
No, you don't eat kitties?
Nobody eats cats over there.
Oh.
No, they're treated really well, even the little kittens on the street and things like that. They're all over. But they keep the rat population down, which is a good thing. So
that's probably why they're sacred.
Yeah, if you live
especially at Port City.
Yeah, if you live out in the country here having cats, like barn cats, yeah, that's always been normal on farms and things like that. And that's basically what they are. Some people have them as pets. People don't really have dogs because they're just the lowest. They're lowest on the rung.
Yeah.
And that's why, if anybody ever calls you a dog, that's like the worst thing you can be called.
Oh, really?
So like here, you hear people, oh, you're a dog. Well, we just laugh, and it's like, well, no, that's really an insult because,
that's
dogs.
That's not an insult. I'm loyal and I fetch sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll hump your leg. Who doesn't want that?
Come here, boy. No, so it's a little bit different over there. But yeah, dog. I mean, yeah, eat your dogs. I mean, that's
what you do over there.
Yeah, that's what happens when things get tough, is you eat them.
So today I'm smoking a cigar. This is a special one. It's from the San Juan Cigar Company, and it also says Woodinville Whiskey Company.
So is that San Juan, Puerto Rico, or is that San Juan?
That's the San Juan Islands here in Washington. As you can tell by the rain, we're in Washington State. The whole state's been on fire, so this rain's welcome, assuming it's not killing my camera there. But this is a special cigar, and I think that the San Juan Cigar Company, they make it. It's hand rolled, and like all cigars, and then I believe they douse it with some Woodinville whiskey during the aging process. But it's one of the tastiest cigars I've ever had. I'm gonna relight it here. I'll let you have it.
This is some tasty beer. My buddy Magnus Böner here makes beer. He gets paid to make beer, and so there's always beer, and this is some of it. This is. What is this, the Pilsner?
It's Pilsner.
This is a Pilsner. He's got some IPA in there. He's got some, but that's what he does. I mean, why be a digital nomad when you can just make beer?
You never work a day in your life. You love your job.
Yeah. Prost.
Prost. You want to suck on that a little?
Nope.
Okay.
I got my own.
Fair enough.
So this is the first, we come from 90 to 95 degree weather. I think we even got higher than that in some of the places. And we come back here, we were just getting into the monsoon season in Malaysia. And so that's another thing. So there's all these little things you learn when you travel. And one of them is don't bring a rain jacket. So we each got Arc'teryx Beta Light rain jackets.
Well, that sounds like something fancy from the REI, like $200.
Oh man, they're expensive. Yeah, you're gonna drop $300 to $400 full
Jesus.
price. But they're Gore-Tex. They weigh a pound each and they roll up nice. So I'm like, all right, yeah, let's bring these because there's monsoon season. And my dad was over there in Asia back during Vietnam. But he's like, yeah, it's no joke when it rains. And so we're over there and we have our rain jackets. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna have rain jackets. Useless, completely useless. You get soaked. Your feet are gonna get soaked. If you're gonna do that, take a rain top, take rain pants, take gaiters, take waterproof boots. But otherwise, you can just buy, they have ponchos, like full-length ponchos down to here, and they're only a couple of bucks US. And you can get umbrellas. I think Malaysia had them for 10 ringgit to 20 ringgit. And you can get full-size ones for like 20 to 30.
Okay.
And that's maybe $6 US. And umbrellas are the way to go because not only for the rain, but for the sun. So people walk around and carry them, and it takes that heat off.
An umbrella.
And it just
This
gives
is sacrilege.
you shade.
I'm from the Northwest. We don't use umbrellas. We use parkas.
Yeah, so
take that shit to the
umbrellas
East
are
Coast.
handy. So I'm not taking a rain jacket again. That lightens up a pound and gives me about that much space and diameter and about that much length.
What would you do with that much length?
Oh man, yeah, give me an extra 8 inches. Yeah, it's. I mean, because you got to pack it on. So we're just doing carry on, and so you get 7 keys, which is about 15 pounds,
Yeah,
15 point something pounds.
2.2 pounds per kilo, so
So about 15.4, something like that.
that sounds right. Close enough.
And that's all you get to carry. So when you've got a laptop, like I have a MacBook Pro, a 15-inch, and that right there weighs like 4 or 5 pounds plus the case it's on. 2 external hard drives. You got your power source. You got a power strip because we took a universal power strip, so we can plug anything in. So like all my stuff, like I have.
Oh right, you've got all the US shit, so you got that
Yeah.
power strip, so you can put whatever adapter on that, plug it in the wall.
Yeah.
Is that how you're
And
doing
do
it?
that, yeah. So what happens is you end up picking up stuff when you're in Asia. Like I picked up something for a beard trimmer, and also I can cut my hair, and that has the 2
Beard trimmers work good for trimming your other beard too.
So this one has just the 2 round prongs. So you get 2 different types in Asia. You get just the two round prongs, which are like this, and they're side by side.
Oh yeah, that's like the German or Czech plug.
Yeah, and then you have the ones, and so a lot of times over there in the newer stuff, they have universal,
Okay.
which is what our power strip is. It has the US dual prong, the flat dual prong with the ground, and so we'll have to use an adapter sometimes. But over there in a lot of the newer hotels, they have universal outlets in the wall, so you can plug anything in. But you get into places where they just have the dual
And so
prong.
is that 240 volt like in Europe?
Yeah, so you're running, so a lot of the electronics now, like we don't get power converters, we just get power adapters, because a lot of the electronics, everything from your computer right down to your blow dryer, if you're taking one of those, they all run from, I think, 110 up to like 250 is what they're rated at.
What you'll want to do is read your electronics before you go plugging into a wall.
Yes.
Because it varies highly. I'm a little old school in that, last time I traveled was a year ago, but before that it was several years. And so back in the day, a lot of your chargers would have a voltage converter on it, so it would plug into any wall and you'd be good to go. But be sure to read that shit and don't just stick in your plug in any outlet. You might regret it.
You fry it. Yeah, my brother-in-law brought his hair clippers, and his weren't rated up to 220 even. He had like some old school 110. He fried it in Cambodia, just fried it, and he's like, oh my God, I could smell it, and it was smoking. But yeah, that's a good tip, is check your electronics. Also, don't assume that 220 is where you're topping out, because you're going to get power surges.
Okay.
Not only power surges, but it may not be 220. It may go up to 230, 240, and then you're fried. So a lot of this stuff will say, like our power strip runs from 110 to 250.
Okay.
And a lot of this stuff runs from 110 to 240 on electronics. So if you're plugging into that, which is rated at 250, and get a good one, don't just, spend the money, because that's, a $2,000 computer, $3,000 computer. Yeah, you don't want to fry that. So spend
Right.
the extra $20 on a really good power strip, and plug that in. And ours was a 6. It had 6 outlets on it, and they were universal, so they were wide. They were wider, so you could plug in a lot more. You could plug everything in that you needed. You're going to learn a lot of stuff when you're out.
That's the great thing about traveling, is you get to learn, you get to interact with strange people that speak different languages. And I'm naturally an introvert, and so when I'm traveling, it forces me to be an extrovert, because you got to figure out where the hell you're going.
Yeah.
And so you'll talk to strangers, maybe pretty ladies. And so that's fun. I love eating food from different places. I mean, you got homesick to eat some good old-fashioned biscuits and gravy.
Oh man,
but
I was craving this guy's biscuits and gravies.
if you've ever had Böner gravy, you'll crave more. You'll want to have that again.
Yeah, it's good. He makes the biscuits from scratch, and yeah, they're really, both he and I. So when we met, we were bakers, and what was it? The first thing we did. So he was home brewing. You were home brewing.
Yep.
When we first met, and I'm like, well, that sounds cool. I want to do it. And I'm like, I really want to make cider. So I'm like, well, how do you do this? And so he tells me one day, most people, when you tell them something, and they're like, oh, I'm interested. This is bullshit interest.
Right.
That's another thing, is there's tons of bullshit interests out there. So don't waste your time with people unless they're, really interested in what they're doing, and they're doing it, because there's tons of people that will waste your time with questions, and they don't do
They're
it.
just making conversation.
Yeah, and then they have more questions, and they really want to, but they don't know how to do it, and they don't have that drive to go off and do it. They want somebody else to like handhold and walk through it. But anyways, so I asked Tony how to do this, and he's like, yeah, whatever, just do this and this and this. So that night I went down and got a bunch of cider from Latin Cider Mill here, got some yeast, pitched it. Came back the next day, I'm like, I got a 5-gallon carboy sitting in my house. And he's like, really? He's like, you went and did it? I'm like, yeah. And so we became like instant friends after that. But anyways, baking, yeah, he makes these biscuits and gravies from scratch. And yeah, and then the gravies from scratch, and they're so good. And like the last 10 years, you've just like perfected this and played with it. And oh my God. And then we go out mushroom picking, and sometimes there's mushrooms in it, and there's all sorts of goodness in this biscuits and gravy. And yeah, you get that when you're in Southeast Asia. You just crave certain things. And yeah, you can make stuff there, but it takes so much time.
You're not going to find the ingredients a lot of times. You're not going to find American style pork sausage.
No, you're not.
Careful, there's a beverage there.
Yeah, and you don't need pork sausage. I mean, a lot of times.
Yeah, you do. You can't make biscuits and gravy without pork sausage.
Yeah, but making stuff in Southeast Asia, especially when you're a digital nomad traveling around, you can't make stuff. The best thing we ever had for cooking was in a hotel room. You'd get one of those little boil kettles where you plug into the wall.
So, and like I used to have one of these at work. You plug this boil kettle in, and it comes up to a boil and it shuts off.
Yeah.
So you're going to make a cup of noodle with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you figured out how to hard boil some eggs, but you're not going to make much with that.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a little thermos, an insulated thermos next time, and do some thermos cooking.
What about a hot plate?
You can get those, but the thing is that you're spending money on a lot of things. If you get a hot plate, you're like, okay, I can cook. Now I've got to get a mortar and pestle. Now I've got to get this. Now I've got to get spices. So for us, like going down, for her and I, we could go out and have a full meal with drinks for 20 ringgit tops, which is going to be just under 450, which is going to be like 446.
So that's 2 people eating dinner. And when you say drinks, that's not beer.
Yeah, not beer.
Okay.
It's like Te Tariq, which is, Tariq is pole. So it's like you see the Indian, and you get that in Malaysia because of the Indian thing, and they serve it at all the local places too. So they pour it really high.
Okay.
But it's this tea, and it's got milk. It's got this other stuff in it. There's some spices. It's so good. And that
So
was my
$4
go-to
for
drink.
2 people. I live
Yeah.
in King County, so if you're going to any kind of a restaurant, you're going to be paying at least $30 for 2 people.
Yeah, and we get fish. and
We're
they
going to
have-
drink beer though, craft beer.
Yeah, and a lot of places you just go in, they have all the food there unless you're ordering noodles. You just go in and they have everything out there at lunch, and you just put on there and they charge you for whatever you order. And we found one little place.
Go on.
We found one little place at Iowai Puchong, which was about an hour train ride from city center in KL. We went in there. We're like, "How much is this?" And he's like, "Well, you just put it on the plate." And usually that's a bad deal. Is you want to know how much
Right.
it is before. So we're like, "Okay, we want to try it. We'll eat," because we're all about trying the food.
Right.
That's why you're out. And so we get all this on the plate. We both get Tay Tariq. I get in a hot one. She gets it iced. We go to pay, and he's like 11 ringgit, which is just under $2.50.
Oh my God.
So we ate 2 meals with rice and meat and vegetables, and then 2 teas, and it was less than $2.50.
Nice.
And you're just like, what in the world? And it's just a little local place. But if you go to the mall, you're going to pay more for a lot of these places. But there's so many local places where you just get the food, and it's super, super cheap. So it's worth exploring and finding these places, because the food is so good.
So hey, thanks for watching. I'm Magnus Böner,
I am Joshua King.
and if you haven't done it already, smack that subscribe button. Do a little search on the YouTube, find his channel. It's a more professional than my channel, but
I've only got like 12 videos, I think. It's not a whole lot. But yeah, if you go in and type in Joshua King, you're going to get a black football guy from Europe.
okay.
But yeah, if you
You
just
scroll down, I found
Yeah,
it. You might even have to go to the second page of Joshua King's, but he's on there.
Yeah.
Joshua King, Digital Nomad, and you can see him eating a lot of food. He does a lot of food trucks, food stands, and if you're a foodie, you need to check him out.
Yeah, so just go to Joshua King and put in Kochai, Cocai, and that'll bring up one of the videos, and you can find my page from there. Also Instagram, it's at Joshua King Digital Nomad. We just take pictures of whatever we want and put it up on there. That's just for fun. Facebook, I don't know what I'm at Facebook, but it's Joshua
King, I think.
Yeah, you can find me there. Just send a friend subscription. You can see everything. It's public, so.
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
hey, thanks for watching.
Yep.